Oh, okay. So that's how we're doing it. Okay, whatever. My camera is doing its own thing. That's fine. This is Tanya. Thank you for tuning into Books and Brown Liquor. This video is my January wrap up. Yo, January was such a good reading month for me. I read 5 books. Oh my God. Actually, I just was really, I joined some book groups on Facebook, and I had like all these recommendations coming at me, so I just couldn't wait to get to the next book. So January was a good reading month. Anywho, moving on. The first book for January was Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. This book was so freaking good. I did not expect it. I expected, well, I don't know. Basically, this woman, I forgot her name. I forgot her name because this was the first book I read in January and I totally forgot her name. But anyway, she's a very well put together, attractive woman married to this guy who teaches at a high school. And he's one of those guys that look good on paper and that the community loves, but at home, he's a fucking asshole, okay? And she's like, you know what? I'm sick of you. I'm sick of your shit. And then one day he just goes missing. He just disappears. Him and his vehicle are just gone. So of course, the spouse is always the #1 suspect, and everyone thinks that she did it. And honestly, she wanted something bad to happen to him, but even she's taken by surprise, like, yo, like I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to hurt him too, but I ain't do all that. Anyway, I'm not gonna say anymore because that would spoil it. It's really, really good because, again, I don't want to spoil it, but basically, he's not a good dude, and basically the entire town thinks he's like Mr. Wonderful. Scott getting on my nerves. Mr. Wonderful, you know, she did it. So the whole town is just dogging her completely. But then the truth comes out. And then when we do get to the end of the book, we find out what happened. And it's worth the read. Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. Yo, check it out. I don't think enough people talk about this book. I stumbled upon this one by accident, and I was like, this book is good. Because I noticed that a lot of times people do recommend the same books. So I ain't mad, because if they're good, they're good. But I would like some variety. And Pretty Little Wife, yeah, that was it. The second book I read for January, which I did not finish because I just didn't, The Necromancer's House by Christopher Buehlman. It started out very promising. It's about this dude that knows how to do magic. He doesn't want to be called a wizard. He wants to be called a mage. Anyway, I thought, yo, I like books with magic, and a lot of times magic is usually like a female, other than Harry Potter. The witches or people that do magic are usually, you know, female. But I got more than halfway through, and I really, really just couldn't get into it. I just wasn't like invested. I don't know if it's because I wasn't really attached to the main character or like what was going on. I didn't care enough about him to really care about what he was going through. So I don't know, I just got bored, and I was like, yo, I don't make myself read books that I don't want to read, so it's a wrap. So that's what happened with that. Moving on, Local Woman Missing by Mary Kabika. I already talked about how much I love this book. I thought the book was so good. In a small suburban town, women just go missing. And of course, they always think the husband did it. They always think the husband did it. But it's not who you think it is. It's very well written, and it's told from 2 timelines. So it's told from the present timeline, where they're searching for this missing, or they're trying to find out what happened to this missing woman. And then the other timeline, you're following this character, and it basically goes through the events that led to her disappearance. So then in the end, you know, and you're like, oh, wow, okay. No spoilers. Very good book. I say 4 stars. Do I recommend it? Hell yes. Local Woman Missing. That shit was good. Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. This is my first book. This is the first book I've read by Jennifer Hillier. I really like her writing. I love the fact that even though it's a psychological thriller, they don't hit you over the head with all of the cliche type stuff. This was almost like, it was like reading a very good fiction drama, but a little bit of true detective in it, you know, because you're looking at basically our main character, Gio. She was dating a guy 15 years ago when she was 16. This guy is responsible for the death of her best friend, but people don't know, was she a victim of this bad dude or was she an accomplice? So basically, she signs a plea deal. The whole town turns on her, you know, because guilty by association or whatever. But then you learn the truth. You really learn the truth about the events that led up to that. And it's so easy for society to just point the finger at someone and say, you're bad, and they don't even know the whole story. So I thought this was a really good story because it really goes into her backstory and everything that she went through. Excuse me. And also like how quick people are to just judge you based off of like one event in your life. Like you have this whole life and this one event, people can just turn on you, you know? So I really felt for her character because no one knows all the stuff she went through, you know? Anyway, very good book. I do recommend it. And the ending, surprise, surprise at the ending. So yes, read that. The last book that I just finished last night, Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is not your typical psychological thriller either. So basically, a husband and a wife, they've been married for 10 years. Their marriage is not in a good place at all. So it's written in two different forms. Basically from his form, it's basically written in the form of letters. So it's like letters that she writes to him describing how she feels, but he never really reads the letters. So basically you're really getting into her psyche. And like, you can like, as the letters go on, you can kind of slowly see the demise of the relationship and the things that cause it to just go awry. But then she decides after 10 years they're gonna go to the secluded, and when I say secluded, I mean secluded to the 10th power, ain't nobody around. And they're gonna work on their marriage. And this is like the make or break point. Either we decide to go our separate ways or we're gonna make it work. Either way, this is the weekend where you know, we make that decision. And out of all the creepy places in the world, this place is creepy. So they feel like real people. You can relate to like the things that they're going to. You care about this story because you're wondering, okay, what's going to happen with this relationship? But they're staying at this old ass, creepy ass place. And from the very beginning, you feel that ominous, we shouldn't be here vibe. Okay? Now, if you feel like you shouldn't be there, maybe you shouldn't be there. I'm just saying, maybe when your gut is telling you, I don't know, maybe you should get the fuck in the car and get the fuck out of there. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, I'm glad that they did stay because what I will say is things that you try to bury in the past have a way of coming back. That's all I'm gonna say. But the outcome of this book, it did surprise me. It was worth the read. It was good. And there are some questions you have. They're all answered at the end. I thought it was a good book. But I just feel like it was more than a thriller because it wasn't your cliche, you know, haunted house. It's always about a freaking haunted house, a family that just moved to a haunted house. It wasn't that type of thing. But there was a feeling that someone is watching them. I always felt like they were being watched. It was very creepy, very creepy. So it was a very well-written drama with some creepy factors for sure. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. And the book I'm reading right now is No Exit by Taylor Adams. I think I'm only on like page 30 or something, and it's so good. So No Exit by Taylor Adams is about a girl who is on her way home because for some reason everybody loves to drive in the middle of a snowstorm. So basically she's stranded at a rest stop. And she's outside trying to get signal, and she looks over and like there's a van parked next to her, and there is a child locked in an animal cage. So she just like happened to be like stumble across a kidnapped child in a parking lot, but they're stranded in the middle of nowhere because that's the theme for today, stranded in the middle of nowhere. So that's how the story starts. That's just chapter 1. But so far, that's all I got because I just started it. So that will be my next review. And for now, thank you for reading. My bad. Thank you for watching, and I wish you good reading. Thank you. Bye.